especially once you get to 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, you have to get different. You're going to find yourself.
You're telling people not to be sheep. Can you rebrand yourself from the model maniac to the fantasy golf counselor?
Hey, I can call me the spreadsheet shepherd, maybe, and then see where I can take you to the greener pastures there, baby.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by Underdog, and we are talking Underdog today. PGA Best Ball Draft starts at the Century, so right at the turn of the new year, we're going to be digging in and doing these drafts. The scramble on Underdog right now is $10 to play. There's 56,000 entrants, $50,000 to first place. The model maniac, Byron Lindeque, on the line with me. Congratulations, Dad, on making a PGA Best Ball tool. Also on becoming a dad.
Thank you. Both massive achievements, both my babies. So one of them I'm selling, the other I'm not.
Which one?
You can grab my dog dominator at Patreon at the Model Maniac over there for you, or my ex account. It's over for you guys over there. But it's been a fun time. I think I was slurping some noodles before I jumped on the show, so I need to burp brag myself. But it's been a great time, Pat. I feel like I should be holding something right now, so I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, you hold 2 coffee mugs in your hand like you're Jack Donaghy, and you'll be good.
Okay. Well, there we go. We're ready to rock and roll now. So.
Perfect. So I actually just spoke with Michael Kim, and I kind of asked him, because he's 117 in the FedEx Cup rankings. We went through this. We did a show, at the very beginning, probably 3-4 weeks ago, about strategy for Underdog Best Ball. Code Mayo at Underdog right now. If you don't have an account, we'll get you a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Plus, you'll get a pick in the pick'em game. But if you want to play in the Best Ball, go deposit, and then you can get a bonus of up to $1,000. So you get half your entries for free, basically, if you want to get into this bigly and use Byron's tool to really guide everything through. But has your strategy changed at all, knowing that obviously the signature events are important, the good players are important, but you need to backload this team with guys that are going to play in the other events, like Michael Kim, who, like I said, number 117 in the FedEx Cup, full tour card status. He basically told me, he's like, my schedule's picked for me. There's only so many events we can play, and everyone who's in that qualification range is playing in those events.
Exactly. If you're not picking lineups that are looking very gross and you've got 4 or 5 or 6 really weird looking names in there, you're not doing this right. Because if you just got 7 studs, you're not filling the other crappy schedules out. So I also got Benny on to confirm he is playing the exact same schedule going forward. So we've got at least one guy that we know exactly how he's going to be playing this week or this year. So that's exciting. But Tony Finau's injury status is a bit concerning to me as well. I've drafted far too much of him, so now I'm kind of hitting the gas, the brake pedal with him too.
And he was one that we thought was going to play Amex and play in Mexico and play some of these off the beaten path tournaments while also playing in the signature events, and he might not be doing that. Who's in the let's see if I can find it here, the Comcast Tour 10 or the Aon 5. Who were the guys that qualified for?
Okay.
Do you have that in front of you? Because I feel like that's important.
I do. Yeah, so Maverick McNeely, Mackenzie Hughes, Patrick Rogers, Nico Echeverria, Harris English, Seamus Power, Ben Griffin, Kevin Yu, Tom Kim, and Nick Taylor. Sneaky Nick Taylor on the 60 spot there. So those 10 guys will be making their way into the first 2 signature events. And Rasmus Højgaard as well, the DP World Tour #1 seed, will be playing the first 2 as well.
That's interesting. Do we think that's so? We know that 10 DP guys got their card for this year. Normally, I probably wouldn't expect to see. We saw Pavon come over really early last year and play the full schedule. We didn't see Bobby Mack until I think Farmers. Farmers seems to be the one where they actually do come over, because it still seems like they want to play Abu Dhabi, they want to play Dubai. Those are big money tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tricky. So you just want to sprinkle those guys in. I do think maybe Rasmus lands up coming a little sooner to kind of get his feet wet. But that's the thing, Pat. You don't know what these guys are going to be getting up to. Some of them, Pavon barely played anything. It's weird to kind of think what his schedule could have been had he not won. But just sprinkling in these DP World Tour guys, a lot of them tend to play Mexico as well, which is a massive issue if you are drafting these guys, because Mexico is probably the one event that's really, really difficult to get to. And for that second round, it's the lowest scoring event of the 7.
So it's probably going to be the most fantasy points of any of them.
Correct. But also it's to find 6 guys to play in that tournament, it's rough, but it's very rough.
Well, you just need to find the Jake Knapp of this year and you'll be fine.
Exactly. I think you're fine there. But again, I think just to get some strategy out there, I'm not too concerned about upside, Pat. I'm more concerned about volume. It's a lot easier to kind of figure out who's going to play where than how well they're going to play, like I've said on the previous show. So I'm going to just keep hammering that home and hoping that I can just fill as many spots as possible.
If people are wondering about the DP World Tour players who did get their tour card, it is Rasmus Højgaard, like you mentioned. That gets him into the signature events as well. My guy, Thirsty Lawrence, fellow South African with you. Paul Waring, Jasper Svensson, Nicholas Norgard, Matteo Montesero, Thorbjorn Olesen again got his card back, requalifying through DP after having his tour card on the PGA last year. Antoine Rosner, Hosino got it, and Tom McKibben. Do we just want Tom McKibben to be good, or do you think he could be good on the PGA Tour?
I think he's going to find himself thriving on specific courses, but more narrow, condensed venues. I don't, think he's going to really thrive on the bomb and gouge type situations. But again, Pavan was a nobody, and then he just showed up here and just crushed. So I think just sprinkling them in randomly, kind of just getting all 10 of them in there some way or another, particularly Erasmus and Tristan the most. And Nicholas Norgard, very important name for me. I think he's fun. He hits it 1,000,000 miles.
Yeah, he'd be good at places like Torrey, probably Mexico as well, I would think. Like, I mean,
Yes,
the main reason that I was on Jake Knapp at Mexico was because I saw how well he performed, especially ball striking wise at Torrey Pines, because that wasn't an elevated event this year. So it got a lot of those guys into the field and just bombs away with some of these guys. And he kind of
Bombs
fits
away
perfectly.
Yeah.
I went on Fantasy National, fantasynational.com/Mayo, by the way. It's not only just best ball. Byron, one and done season is here at fantasygolfchampionships.com. And I'm giving away free entries, but people need to have an entry already in order to qualify for those free entries. So go to fantasygolfchampionships.com. You can have up to 5 entries, $250 an entry for the entire year from January through August. So it's like $7 a week or something like that. You don't get to pay it weekly, though. You get to pay it up front at once, but you can have up to 5 entries. You get one that will get you into a bunch of draws to get more free entries as we get closer to the season. That starts at the Sony, though, so we'll be going through some strategy for that. Sleeper one.
And the main prize?
And the main prize, yes. Well, there's $1 million guaranteed in the prize pool. $1 million, but $100K to first place, which is huge.
Let's go, baby. I think that's the way to go. So get your lineups in there, folks, and make sure you can get those free dances as well.
Yeah, and for the one and done as well, fantasygolfchampionships.com again, in case you forgot what I said 30 seconds ago, people are like, oh, I'll forget to put in my picks. If you type in your phone number, it will text you that you haven't made your pick before the tournament starts, which is very helpful for me. I know it's very helpful for a lot of people. And I've already got my dad a spot in it as a Christmas gift, which is always something very nice. My dad and I have nothing to talk about, and now we can talk for like 15 minutes every week about who we're going to pick in the one and done. It's perfect. It's perfect fodder. That's worth the $250 right there.
Absolutely. I mean, improving your relationship you can't buy relationships, but a $250 best one and done entry, hey, that's the way to go.
That's the move. So sleeper wise, I ran my full 2024 for the entire year, my strokes gain weighted model. Scotty's number 1, Xander's number 2. Do you know who number 8 was in the model?
For strokes gained, let's go with Tom Hoagie.
It was Andrew Novak.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you're using a full year's worth of data.
Yeah, all of 2024. So I've weighted approach at 28%, around the green 14, off the tee 17, putting at 20%, tee to green at 12, strokes gained total at 7. So it's a bit weighted, but I was shocked to see how highly he came out in this. And he is going to be one of those guys that plays in all these tournaments.
Yes, and although he doesn't finish top 5 a lot, he's just the difference between a top 5 and a top 20 in this format, because there's no finishing position points, money. All you want to do is just finish inside the top 20 in half of your starts and make the cut in the other 3 quarters or so. And that's going to get you far in this contest.
So there was him. Doug Gim was another one who rated out really, really well. Obviously, Hoagie did, but he's going to be in all the elevated events. Did Harry Hall finish inside the top 50? He didn't, did he? No, he didn't. He's 87. So he's another one. I mean, he won last year on tour. So he's going to be in selected tournaments anyway. Like, he'll get into the Century. He'll get into the Players. I believe he gets in. I don't know if he gets into the Masters or not with his win, but he's
alternate event.
Yeah, he's another one where he's just going to play all these tournaments.
Yeah, and Mexico. If you can get like a Century Mexico combo, that's nice too, you know, because if you don't have 6 at the Century, you might as well just can that lineup, because that is the lowest scoring event on the slate.
Do we have the field for that yet?
I think DK has odds out there. So
yeah, but they also have odds for waste management with like 8 players who aren't playing at the top.
Oh, great. Yeah, so no.
Let's see, the Century field. Like it's basically like I'm just trying to see. Let's scroll down here. Who are some random winners that we got? Kevin Yu will be in that, but he's in all the elevated events to begin with. I think Gotterup gets in.
Yes. Gotterup gets in. Jonathan Vegas is a name I've been clicking a lot down there. Who else is down here though? Denny McCarthy, I guess.
Where did Knapp finish?
Nico Echeverria.
Oh,
and Kazaya.
Kazire and Etch, yeah. Throw those guys in.
Nick Taylor, obviously.
What do you think that Minwoo is going to do?
This dude, he needs to take his social media rep and make it his scheduling rep, because whoever's making his schedule, I don't understand. I guess he's kind of just riding the fact that he's inside the top 50 in the world ranking points, but he played twice in the full swing and is now not inside the top 60. So maybe his social media guy will get him into the first 2 signature events, but he's not in them right now. So I don't know what he's doing. He could have easily snuck in there, but he's not. And I don't think he plays for the first little while either. He goes out and makes all that big Saudi Arabian money. So I don't know what his situation is.
What do you do with like Nick Dunlap? Obviously, he won twice. He's in the Century. He's going to be in the Masters. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to go back to Amex to defend his title there. But he's not in. Somehow he's not in the signature events because he decided to be like he didn't get his points for his win, so he's not inside the top 50.
But don't you get in as a? Oh, he's not in.
I don't.
I think I might have had a scheduling blunder there then.
Well, did the top 50 in the world rankings get into all the signature events, or is it just the top 50 in the FedEx Cup?
I think it's just top FedEx.
He finished 67th in the FedEx Cup.
Interesting. I mean, he has to be a sponsor's exemption too then, surely.
But you probably get him at Amex.
And if he's not in, he'll be playing everywhere. He's young, wild and free, so I think he could be a heavy volume guy.
Let's see. Nick Dunlap is in the Century. He's in the PGA Championship, and he's in the Players Championship. He doesn't seem to be in anything else right now.
So he's not. I've got him at 49 for FedEx Cup.
Oh yeah, you're right. He is in the signature events. Never mind.
Okay, I just had a freak out there. Thanks for that.
This could be I tried to do this last year for the major season best ball, but we need an article out there to designate who's in what.
Correct. Or just go grab my tool. It's got projected schedules for everybody.
What? Where do people find that?
At the Model Maniac, baby. Go check it out. But it's also, maybe I can make a little article and pop it out there for everybody. But it's tricky, Pat, trying to figure out if these young guys will play more than they want or not. I don't know. Like, do you think Nick Dunlap's going to play a lot of random events too?
I don't know. Probably not if he's in all the signature events. Like I said, he'll play the American Express because he won there last year. But you still see like some like decent players play in the American Express anyway.
Yes, it's very rare. I mean, Scotty Scheffler playing the American Express is just it's a absurd thought to make. But
it's the one.
It was one of his worst finishes as well.
It's the one place to never bet. Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, the Amex where Jabroni's walking on his line and stuff. It's not the thing, but hey, he's playing. I don't know. They must get tons of appearance fee money out there.
Yeah, and it's it's a pro-am, although it's not heavily publicized as a pro-am because you see more of the notable names at Pebble Beach. But I think it's where like whatever random sponsor you have, you get to play with their like senior vice president that week. And like it's a part of your deal that you're sponsored by them. They have to go play with them for those 3 rounds.
Yes. And to me, that's you got to be making so much money to get an appearance fee there, because playing with some CEO that's got like a Bob Barkley backswing, it's not ideal.
No. Let me sort by this. What's the name of the course in Mexico? It's funny that this entire tournament might come down. Vedanta. So let me search. I'll go on Fantasy National, search by Vedanta.
Is it Vedanta?
Yeah, it is. It's Vedanta Valera. So I'm going to put in course filters for that. I'm going to click off of 2024. FantasyNational.com/Mayo, by the way, to get yourself some access to this. Who's got the rounds here? Finau, Brandon Wu, Cameron Champ, Patrick Rogers, Mark Hubbard, Emiliano Grillo, Grayson Sigg, Jagger, Novak. Aaron Rye probably won't be playing in it this year. Nate Lashley, someone who plays those alt events and plays in Mexico almost every single year. Woodland has played 8 events there. McNeely's probably not going to play in them this time around. Alex Smalley, but the ones who have played the best at this tournament. Finau, who we're on the off the board with here, we don't know. Brandon Wu. So Rogers is kind of like Rogers and Grillo and Hubbard seem like really good picks in this.
Yes. Tons of value with those guys because you're getting Patrick Rogers. Is he top 15 FedEx? I think he's a sneaky. No, I mentioned him in the top 10. So he at least gets the first 2. And he's one of those guys that doesn't finish top end stuff. So you're not getting those, you're not missing out on finishing position points, but he makes a lot of cuts and finishes inside the top 40 quite routinely. So gets Mexico. I like it.
If he chooses to play it, because how many signature events do you get in as the first one? Do you get into
Pebble and the Genesis?
Do you get into Century because of it?
No. You got to be a winner or top 50.
Okay, so you get into Pebble and then you get into Genesis, then all bets are off. But Mexico's the week after Genesis, isn't it?
Correct.
So there might be a lapse there if people skip that to go play Honda next. So I'd be worried about that. That's the craziest part about these drafts, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if he's like teetering on the edge there, maybe he flies to Mexico to try and get some points. You're going to get yourself tons of FedEx Cup points out there as a Patrick Rogers ambassador. So maybe he does. It's interesting. I mean, Tom Hoagie, I think, opened up with the first 7 tournaments. He just rattled them off. Just played every single one. So there's going to be guys like that are trying to make it into the API, for instance, and then they're going to just try and do it by volume.
How did Eckroat finish? Now, Eckroat finished inside the top 50, so he's going to end up being safe. Just trying to find guys that have played this tournament over the years. Harry Hall is actually one of the guys who has played it. He's played the past 2 years in Mexico. Nicholas Echeverria is another one. So, yeah, it's looking like, I guess not Rogers so much now. Did Grillo, there's no way he finished inside the top 50, is there?
No, he was not. He was almost outside the top 125 at one point. But I think if you haven't had any breakfast or lunch, you can put Davis Riley in your lineups.
Yeah.
I think he'll be playing. And he gets to play Century, so you're getting him for that. Remember when he dominated Scotty Scheffler at the Charles Schwab? That Davis Riley. So he'll be there. Jake Knapp. Matt McCarty, I think, is a sneaky option as well. Gets the Century, not in the first 2 signatures. I think he'll be playing a lot. He's a good putter, makes a lot of birdies and things. So he's not a bad option either.
Yeah, Matt McCarty is actually a great shout. Won the Shriners. He didn't get into the first 2 signature events?
No. He's 114th on FedEx Cup points. So he just showed up late. I didn't get enough tournaments to go there. And as a result, he gets to the Century, which does help, because you're getting points for those next few. Because I think the 5 best guys to start the year get into Pebble as well. So, it's going to be a mad race to see who can get to the top of the board there early in the year.
Yeah, Vegas seems like sort of, you say you've been auto-clicking him. I think he would be my favorite sleeper of this bunch.
Correct. And he's also one of these guys, lots of cuts made, not necessarily a high-end finisher unless it's the 3M, which you don't even get in this schedule.
No. All right, you want to jump into one of these drafts?
Let's go, baby.
All right, we're going to click on the scramble. We're going to get in here. Oh, I'm going to lose $10 from my account. Now it can't detect where I'm located at. Great. We're going to go through this all over again. Give me 1 sec here. Done.
I've done 105 slow drafts because I had to drive to Omaha, rapid fire off 100, and then came back and had to do a draft every 8 hours. It was a grind. Excuse me.
But you're just doing the slow
But-
drafts?
Well, I can't draft in Iowa, so I had to go to Nebraska, pop all my drafts in there, and then come back home, and then you can do them still because it won't just cancel you out. But now I don't know if a slow draft is even an option because you can't see what's going on. All right.
We're picking 6th here, so we have the wraparound pick.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You can kind of go with whatever there.
So what are you thinking here before it starts? Like, what do you think our strategy should be for this?
I'm going to let you decide, Pat. We can go early and then you can make the plays and then I can kind of guide you from there because the fun part is trying to fill out the back end of the schedule is just play the cards how you get dealt. I mean, Sahith isn't a terrible option over there. I think Eric Cole, also a great guy. Those are just 2 high volume dudes. Rory not playing the Century, not in the mood to take him much.
Ludwig is in the Century, though, isn't he?
Ludwig's in the Century.
Yeah, so ADP right now is Scotty, Xander, Morikawa, Sungjae, Ludwig, Rory is the top 6. Then it's Sahith, Cole, Cantlay, Finau, Bhatia, Tom Kim, Hideki, Hovland. Doesn't it feel like Hovland is just due for a rebound year?
He's probably going to play some better golf, but I don't know how much golf he's going to play. That's my concern with him.
Davis Thompson is going at pick 15. People are savvy to what you're supposed to do already.
Correct. Now, to be honest, it might be a lot to do with, I don't want to toot my own horn, but it might be a lot to do with what I got up to early because I rattled off a bunch and just nuked these guys' ADPs because this tournament hasn't really filled up that much yet. So there's probably going to be some overlay if you guys don't get involved too soon. So there's a massive edge rocking and rolling, yeah. And Thompson will be defending the John Deere Classic, which is a lot of points.
Is that one of the last events?
Yeah, and it's in that final round, which is very important. And it's got the US Open in it, and it's got the Open Championship, which are 2 big boy events that you could potentially score as many points at the John Deere as you could at both of those.
That's true. So, Patrick Rogers will most definitely. So maybe he's not the greatest pick because he won't play Mexico like we thought he would be at the very beginning, but maybe towards the back end of the year, if he can stay relatively decent, that is probably where you want to get him. All right,
yeah, the guy's teetering on that outside of the bubble. Okay, you just choose where you want to go with, and we go from there.
We got Rory, Sahith, and Cole. Let's go with Sahith.
Yeah.
We'll go with Sahith.
I'm down with that.
We'll take him. Is there a chance that we get Bhatia at some of these dinky events?
Yeah, I think him, Cole, Hoagie, Siwoo, Corey Connors, they all play a lot of random stuff.
All right, we'll take Bhatia here because if he shows up to some of these tighter driving events, he'll probably defend at Valero as well, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sneaky play, especially with the Masters in that state. That round 2, you've got the Valspar, Valero, Houston, API, all difficult venues, so getting a lot of those points at the Cognizant in Mexico, important stuff. And I think Akshay could maybe sneak out. You never know what he gets up to. The guy plays a lot of golf.
Well, I see that Grazerman is ADP number 23. That's in between Justin Thomas, Ben Ann, Tom Hoagie, and Sam Burns. He's been playing great golf. He comes second every single tournament that he plays. But do you think that he ends up playing some of these jabroni events, or is he too good for that now?
No, I think he has to go. I don't think he's found himself in a position to afford too much of a relaxing schedule. And, I think you tend to find these guys that show up, having had success the 1 year as their breakout year, they kind of want to keep that rolling. If you're playing your best golf of your life, would you want to just play limited amount of golf, or do you want to actually go hard at the paints and try and win one of these things? So I've got Grieseman playing a lot of tournaments, 21 events this year. So I fancy him a lot.
And Justin Thomas usually plays American Express, just like Sam Burns, and they both play Valspar every year too. Actually, what do you do with Spieth? Is Spieth going to he's going to get sponsors exempts into basically everything, but do you think that you see him play some of these weirdo tournaments?
He'll be maybe playing the John Deere Classic. Especially my best hope for Spieth is that he gets into all of these signature events as a sponsors exemption, but doesn't play well enough, but still gets 4 guaranteed rounds, but also has to play a lot of jabroni events to kind of keep himself trying to get inside the top 50. I think trying to find guys that are just bad enough, but also getting you enough points is the secret sauce here. Just repping out volume to try and keep that top 50 ranking.
So it's coming up to us in a second. Tom Kim, Hideki, Grazerman, Rye, Finau, Davis Thompson, Eric Cole, Hovland have all just come off the board. So we're up in one pick. What do you think the move is here? Because we have like Siwoo, Cantlay, Griffin, Max Homa, Justin. Like, is Justin Thomas just too low here? Because I do think that he rebounds in a big way.
Absolutely. I think he's awesome. And like you said, you get some extra events from him. Now, does he play well in the majors this year? I don't necessarily know. But, Corey Connors and Siwoo Kim will be playing a lot more tournaments than JT, though, in my opinion.
So
if I were to pick, I would go that way.
So Siwoo is probably going to play Sony and American Express, which is pretty nice because he just plays those every year. He's not in... No, he would be in the Century as well because he finished top 50. You want to take Siwoo?
Yeah.
All right, we'll
Love
take
Siwoo.
We'll take Siwoo. Ben Griffin is the highest ADP guy who remains right now. Well, let's not take him. Let's take someone more fun than that. We could take Justin Thomas.
I like Corey. Yeah, go with JT. If you want to rock and roll, that's a nice pick.
Do you like JT or Burns better?
JT.
All right, let's take JT with that pick, and I'll bring up the draft board here to see how we're doing. So team 1 has Scotty, Finau, and Rye. Team 2 has Ludwig, Davis Thompson, and Grazerman. Team 3 has Xander, Cole, and Tom Kim. Team 4 has Colin, Victor, and Hideki. Team 5 has Sungjae, Rory, Cantlay, and they're currently on the clock with a pick here. And we have Sahith, Akshay, Siwoo, and Justin Thomas.
I love it. That guy with Rory and Patrick Cantlay, good luck, bud. I mean, you're not going to make it through the first round. Unless your other guys show up.
So should you be targeting everything just to advance? I know people have different strategies, like the Week 17 correlation in NFL best ball, but
yeah,
should you just not even worry about who's going to play the John Deere once we get down to it, or who's qualified for the Open? Just get your ass through the first part of the season?
Well, with 150, I think you can almost assume that, go 1/6 of those, 30 guys make it through. Then those are going to make it to the final round. What you're looking for is an optimal lineup once you get to the end. If you are going limited amount of entries, then you probably want to kind of just play a little safer, kind of like a cash lineup in a way. But I think if you're going maxing this thing out, then you want to make sure that you can just take advantage of the guys that sneak through that didn't have a perfect round 1 setup that can dominate, that 4th round once they get there, because that's where all the marbles are going to make, you're going to make all your money there.
Oh, Cam Davis did qualify for all the signature events, but he'll play Rocket Mortgage again for sure.
He did qualify?
Yeah,
Cam Davis?
Yeah, Cam Davis is inside the top 50, I believe. I don't know what FedEx Cup standings I'm looking at here.
Jesus. No, he's 36th, 51st in world ranking. So what a weird season he had. He has no business being inside of the top 50.
But he got the win.
Right. So good for him. But I just don't trust him to be a season-long guy. You're going to have spike weeks from him and potentially win the Rocket again. But is he going to give you the chance to get to having him play in the Rocket? I don't know. Currently, you're lacking Mexico, Pat, and you're lacking the John Deere Classic. You've got 0 guys playing those tournaments.
Do you have Jake Knapp projected to defend in Mexico?
I do. I also tweeted at him asking if he would, but no response yet. I'm working hard on trying to figure out these guys' schedules, but I would imagine you go defend. I think Tony's done it, so I think he's going back there.
So I queued up Vegas, Knapp, Riley, Cam Davis, Dunlap, and Matt McCarty right now. Dunlap is 32 in ADP, so he's available for one of these picks coming up. Corey Connors is still on the board potentially for us with the next pick.
Sure. I love that as a value play late on, especially when you get guys that are dropping so far down. I mean, what pick are we going with now? The 30th pick, and Connors is ADP of, God damn it.
The guy auto-drafted in front of us. So that leaves us with Homa, Fleetwood, and Wyndham Clark, or Dunlap, Pendrith, Spieth, Henley. Henley plays these jerk-off tournaments, or at least he didn't as much last year, but he normally does.
Yeah, he's now inside the top 50. He's an elitist. I wouldn't be drafting him too much. Keith Mitchell is someone that plays Mexico potentially.
I'm taking Dunlap.
Okay.
So
Sneaky last minute click. I like Keith Mitchell. He plays in Mexico as well, and he's also the guy that makes a lot of cuts, but doesn't necessarily get, inside the top half there. But he plays a lot.
all right, so we'll take Keith Mitchell. So we go Dunlap and Mitchell. Our team sucks on paper, but you're saying we're starting to fill out some of the other tournaments?
Yeah, I'm plugging them in now and telling you where we got going. So we don't have any holes right now for 0, so that's at least good. We're going to ideally want to kind of backload some Mexico events, but looking at your queue, that should help a lot with that. A little sad we never got Corey Connors right at the end. That's the worst part about an auto draft, right? It's like just guys like that get away from you.
So let's start discussing who might be available for our next picks. Like, is Tommy Fleetwood good in this format at all?
No, because he also doesn't show up for a long time early on in the year, doesn't play tons of golf either. But and right in the middle of the draft, unless you're going super weird up top, he's going to be playing all the same tournaments these other guys you've already clicked on will be playing too. So it doesn't really help you. You're just duplicating with the random dude. So he's in a weird spot there. Unless you take him early, like before the 4th round kind of thing, then you can fill up and then take the other guys that kind of come later in the draft. Is a way I would kind of look at it there.
What do you see from JT Poston's in everything, even the first 2 majors, all the signature events, he's in the players. Mm-hmm. Do you think he ends up playing Sony and those sorts of things?
I think so. What was Poston's situation? I think he'll be playing the John Deere as well, doesn't he? Yeah. So he plays the John Deere every year. I think he'll be playing the US Open, obviously.
And he's played Century.
I've got him. Yep, Century, Amex. The only one he's not playing in the first round is the Farmers. And that's one of the hardest events of those 7. So you're not going to be seeing that many points at that event anyway. So I like Poston a lot for that particular reason.
So most of, I don't want to say all the Euros, but a lot of the higher end Euros are just wasted picks. Unless they win 2 majors or something.
As in, like the DP World Tour guys?
No, I mean like Robert McIntyre, Matt Fitzpatrick, the guys that I would project to play in the Middle East in January.
Correct. It's sneaky. Like maybe once you've drafted 100 drafts, then you can start clicking those names just to get different, because why not? But I think it's a tough situation because you're not going to have those early points early on.
All right, we're up next. So we have Henley, Denny, Eckroat, Hubbard, Poston, Zalatoris, Patrick Rogers, Shane Lowry, Chris Kirk, Matt Fitzpatrick, Brendan Todd. They're all up next in terms of ADP. Do you think we should start going off the beaten path here to go get our guys? Like, do I take JT?
I don't mind Denny. He plays lots of golf. And JT Poston. I like those both.
So team all putt, JT Poston and Denny McCarthy. All right, let's do that.
Yeah, baby.
So for our final 2 picks, the queue looks like Vegas, Knapp, Davis Riley, Cam Davis, Patrick Rogers, and I threw Jagger into there as well because I totally forgot about him.
Yeah, and you never know where he lands up playing. He's on the outskirts. He's not playing the best golf, so he could be playing in a ton of signature. Is he a signature event guy?
He is a signature event guy, yes.
Yeah, but not a good skill level right now. So he could be having to force feed some points elsewhere in other schedules.
Yeah, like if you start coming in last in every signature event, you're going to have to go play Mexico.
Yes, sir. You're going to have to go play the Valspar, the Houston, the Valero. Nasty tournaments, but volume for your draft. So plug your nose. I think the best team is going to be at the end there. It's going to be one that you looked at and be like, I don't know, but I like where we're going here. We've only got one guy playing Mexico, though, Pat. That's the situation we found ourselves in again.
I mean, it's going to be tough considering we don't know who's going to play in this tournament. Like maybe Bhatia plays. I bet on him to win there one year, and he almost won.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a resort venue, so guys that just go out there and enjoy that. Like, it's definitely a way to go about it.
Like, is Kitayama going to play in those events?
I don't know. He's also, has he been playing well enough to lean on just finishes in the signature events, or will he go to Mexico where he's thrived and potentially get a win? I think
Kitayama's not in the signature events.
He is not. Okay.
Neither is Knapp. Jake Knapp seems like a great pick.
Yes, and I think he's healthy again. Two-time winner this year, by the way.
He just won over the weekend. We're good to go.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we'll focus on Knapp to make him one of the picks. And you said that Vegas is also another one who's not in the signature events. That although they get to play both of them play in the Century. Someone just took
Correct.
Jake Knack. Fuck.
That's okay. Davis Riley, not the worst situation. Patrick Rogers, not a terrible name. Let's take a look.
Are you convinced we're going to get Davis Riley in Mexico?
I think so. I mean, I tend to think he'll repeat his schedule again since he's not inside the top 50 again.
All right, we'll go with Davis Riley, and we'll go with. Oh boy, do you want to take Vegas? That's been your boy.
Vegas is my guy. If you want to go thirsty, you can go with him. I think maybe Thorbjornsen, also not a terrible option because you've got already Century lined up. You got enough guys going there.
Thorbjornsen's a good shout because his off the tee prowess might be good for Torrey in Mexico.
Yeah.
Let's do Thor.
I love it.
But he has starts, right?
Yeah, he's carrying over PGA, so he's like 127 in the priority ranking. So he's basically got a full tour card.
All right, so you project him for Mexico and Farmers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I think he's going to be playing a lot. Yeah.
All right, so this ended up being team number 1 that we drafted. We drafted Sahith, Akshay, Siwoo, Justin Thomas, Nick Dunlap, Keith Mitchell, Denny McCarthy, JT Poston, Davis Riley, and Michael Thorbjornsen as our team.
Yeah. Check that back in on that draft. That's gross as you can get, but you never know. I think what we do want to do, Pat, is probably try and focus a few more Mexico names because you can get them in. You just got to, there's like a core group of guys that I've landed up clicking a lot because you have to. And I think that's, once you get to the second round, if you get a ton of Mexico guys in there all of a sudden, you can have a few miscuts at the Valspar, the Houston. Those are difficult courses. Like Mexico's, you can make a ton of birdies out there, Eagles, all of that jazz. So we'll do a better job of getting some Mexicos. We only got one guy playing there, maybe. No, I haven't filled out the rest. What were the last 2 picks?
It was Johnny Vegas and Thorbjornsen. No, it was Thorbjornsen and... No, I can't remember. It wasn't Vegas. It was the other guy.
Was it Riley?
Yes, it was
Riley.
Davis Riley and Thorbjornsen were the 2.
Cool. So the worst tournament we have slated right now is 3 guys playing. So, and there's only 2 of them. The Canadian Open being the other one.
Okay, and who knows by that time?
Exactly.
That's always a sneaky thing for Corey Connors too, because you know that you're going to get Connors and Pendrith and Hughes in
Mackenzie Hughes. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that's the way to go as well. And you can kind of anticipate guys. Like if you think a guy's going to work his way into the top 10 or whatever of the next 10, boom, slate him in there. I think that's all part of this is projecting a guy's season.
All right, so we need 2 more. We're waiting on 2 players for the next draft. We'll do 2 of these just to see how this ends up differentiating from each other. Hopefully we don't end up with the 6th pick in this. The holidays are here, and this year, I'm not stressing about what to wear, especially around the house, because I'll be wearing my Doers. These are the most comfortable pants that I own. They make me look good, and they're so comfortable. I wear them at work. I wear them around the house. I wear them when I'm out doing things, because Doers denim and lifestyle apparel is built for doing. And I can really tell the difference right now because I've been switching in between jeans and I wear my Doers. There's a lot of temperature fluctuation going on right now at this time of the year. And the high quality temperature regulating fabrics, they keep me warm, but at the same time, I don't get overheated. So that's really where you want to go. And Doer has styles for everyone. They don't chase trends. There are pieces you can wear all year round. Trust me, I know you'll love your Doers as much as I do. Check out Doers flagship stores in LA or Denver, or shop online at shopdoer.com/PME. Right now, my listeners get 20% off your first purchase when you use my exclusive URL, shopdoer.com/PME. This is such a great deal. Don't wait to get 20% off. Go now, shopdoer.com/PME. Introducing to you the TGL presented by SoFi Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN+. This is a simulator plus real chipping, real grass, and real green league featuring some of the PGA Tour's biggest players like Tiger and Rory and Xander. Only 2-hour matches inside of a stadium and has other sporting elements like timeouts, refs, and overtime. You tee off from real grass into a screen. You might end up in the rough, or sand, real sand, and have to play it back into the screen out of there. After that, they use the technology to drop it by a real greenside area plus a real putting surface, getting everyone involved in the contest. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. To learn more, visit tglgolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up. It's golf. For 11 months of the year, staying motivated is not a problem for me. Then December hits, the holidays around, I'm out of my normal routine, and it becomes a struggle to stay motivated and keeping myself laser focused on work and health and getting exercise in every single day just because everything's so out of whack with my schedule being thrown off. The one thing that I've been doing to make sure that I stay on the right path every single day is waking up and drinking my AG1. I get my essentials for nutrients and supplements every single day, and it just makes me feel so good. It makes me motivated to continue to stay focused on what I need to accomplish every single day, no matter how out of the regular routine that my life starts to get. AG1 is a sponsor of the Pat Mayo Experience, so this holiday season, try AG1 for yourself or even gift it to someone special. It's the perfect time to focus on supporting your body with an easy and surprisingly delicious daily health drink. That's why I'm so excited to be partnering with them. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs inside your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/Mayo to get this offer. That's drinkag1.com/Mayo to start your new year off on a healthier note. Where do you find that the best spot to pick from is? Is it number one, just get Scotty?
Number one or number two, because you're only going to have 1/6 of Scotty. So the more number ones you can get, the better number two as well. You're not going to be getting Xander pretty much. This draft, I guess he dropped to 3, but you want to be clicking those names pretty much all the time because you're not going to be getting 20% of those guys in your lineups, and they're going to be part of the winning situation most likely. I don't mind I like, the second and third spot as well, because you can potentially pick up some good names that fall. That's the fun part too, is trying to pick up some ADP value as well, because that's what makes you different when you're going up against the other 251 people in that final round, is having a different combination to start the first 3 picks, because that's how you win the 50K on your own.
So do you think that it's probably better to differentiate yourself at the top with your first 3 picks rather than the back end? Like, do you have a general rotation of players that you want at the back?
I do, because that's where you fill a lot of your holes. So as a result, you likely want to, as you're drafting, okay, I've clicked these 2 guys a lot in the same combination, reach a little bit as well. Pick a guy early, because once you get to the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds, you're going to be throwing other random dudes in there too. So just taking a guy that should not nearly be picked in the 5th round, that's going to be a totally different situation when you get to the final, main event. So that's going to be a different lineup, a unique lineup, and a way to be the 50K on your own.
So
I agree.
We're waiting on one more guy to go through. I filled out a 10-person queue just to have some of these names on retainer in case we need them. So here's who I put in the queue right now in terms of filling up for sleepers towards the back end if we need them. I got Knapp, Thirsty Lawrence, Matt McCarty, Chris Goddard, Johnny Vegas, Patrick Rogers, Kitayama, Keith Mitchell, Davis Riley, and JT Poston.
Throw Rasmus in there as well.
Rasmus,
because he's playing he's playing the first 2 signatures for sure.
But we don't know if he's going to be over until February, do we?
Correct, but at the same time, you can work around that. You're going to be taking him, so you can build around him, given his ability to kind of take care of business later on. I think getting those 2 signature events late in the draft is nice.
What about Nikolai Højgaard?
I don't think he even is on the tour anymore.
Oh, really? He
They just
didn't
switched out.
He didn't retain. Oh, we have the 6th pick again.
Oh God.
That's
Well, maybe we get a different situation. We'll spice it up, change it up a little bit.
But now I
Figure it out.
don't even remember who I picked first last time.
It was
Sahith and Akshay.
Sahith. Yes. So we'll see what the board gives us, but I think, maybe we go Eric Cole.
Eric Cole, I will say that there might be something broken about the scoring system if Eric Cole is a first-round pick in a fantasy league.
Volume, baby. He's filling so much holes.
I understand that, but do you think eventually he takes the foot off the gas a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, he kind of lost the plot after getting married quite recently, and then he's found his stride again. He's a psycho. He's done this for 2 years straight. I think he's just a grinder, a blue collar boy. I think we can project him for the same workload again.
All right. So the first pick, it's going to go Scotty, Xander, Colin, Ludwig in every draft, I assume. So Scotty, Ludwig goes number 1 and 2 in this draft. The same guy that auto drafted, I think, in front of us last time is now just auto drafting in this draft again.
Oh God,
That's
what is he doing in all of these drafts then?
I don't know.
Or does he just have a ranking system that he's kind of going off of?
I assume that's the case. Like if you're gonna max at 150, which you can do if you use code Mayo and get that deposit bonus of up to $1,000, it gives you ample ammunition in order to fire at all of these tournaments. So he gets Xander.
Yeah.
So for us, it's looking very much the same. We don't want Rory. I guess Sungjae would be a pretty good pick, wouldn't he?
If he falls to us, that would be ideal. I caramba, yeah, though. That what on earth? How do we get the freaking back end of this twice in a row?
So Morikawa goes
okay.
4. We just have to hope this guy doesn't take Sungjae. Maybe he'll be a
Let's hope.
He took Sungjae, so great. So you said Cole. Yeah. We'll go Cole.
Cole.
All right, Cole and who? Ben Griffin.
Cole and
Davis Thompson.
Corey Connors. I mean, if you want to get really weird, Davis Thompson also, but Corey dropped a lot the last draft, didn't he? So maybe he does again.
We might be able to get him with the next one. Do you want to do Tom Kim or Davis Thompson?
Let's go DT.
All right, we'll go with DT with this one. It's funny that DT is going at pick number 7 in this PGA Best Ball draft for 2025. Jake Knapp also had a good run at the Honda as well, as I remember.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, that's early on too, important. And do you think the Honda's going to play as easy as it did last year?
I don't know.
I think they're going to keep it easy.
Let's see. Who is the dude? Campos. Do you have any love for Campos?
Not necessarily. I think, it's a bit of the guy missed 1 million. I think he had 16 missed cuts before his last season and then wins, the Bermuda isn't on the schedule. So, I don't know.
Suppose that's true. Should we take our main man, Michael Kim?
Hey, I think, like you said, he's going to be his schedule's figured out. He's going to be playing all of these other events. And he's found a bit of form, I think, in the fall. So
he did.
Not a terrible option.
Well, it's funny. When I was talking to him, he had made mention of his like, why did your game fall off halfway through the season? Then he closed with 3 top 15s in his final 4 events. He switched to Titleist, and he's like, I just couldn't figure out which driver was good for me.
The luxuries of the rich, rich and famous.
Well, it's just so funny that we don't even consider that week to week. You whenever you hear about an equipment change, it's like, oh, Rory is using da 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 da. Not Michael Kim actually has a new set of clubs here.
It's crazy, and I mean, it's the same brand. You just couldn't figure out what. I mean, I've been using the same driver for the last 12 years. I mean, what on earth has gone on here? But sometimes these guys just tinker. So. Hopefully he sticks with that one now.
So this draft is going very much the same. We took Bhatia and Sahith. This time we got Cole and Davis Thompson. Bhatia went the pick after us, then went Cantley, then went Sahith. I think, when did Rory end? Rory went at the first pick of the 3rd round in this draft.
Oh, wow. To me, that's a better place for him, in all honesty. I think that's the spot. If you get Rory in the 3rd, click his name, because then you've got him with 2 big names ahead of him already. So I wouldn't be taking him in the 2nd, but if he falls like that, that's nice.
Do you think that he'll end up playing Torrey Pines?
I don't think so. I think
Homo will.
Homo will? But is Max? I mean, sheesh, man. He's just not been playing good for a long time now.
Hey, he was the first round leader in South Africa 2 weeks ago. I think I remember seeing that.
Correct. And then finished what? Like top 20 maybe?
That's good.
It
Top
was not
20.
good for
I'll
Max.
take some top 20.
Sure. I don't know. He's interesting because he started going, he was like an ADP of 16 to start off with. So
it's our
what
pick.
is he now?
We can get Corey Connors.
Let's go. Corey Connors. Love that.
All right, so Corey Connors has made the team, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, Corey Connors is on the team. We can go Ben Griffin, Justin Thomas again. Sam Burns is here. Hovland is still here.
Benny on. He gets to play in the CJ Cup, which not a lot of good guys play in.
Okay, sure. I'm
But
taking
the
Benny.
Koreans play in the CJ.
Let's take Benny Ann.
I think he's due for a breakout. You know, the guy, he's got his first win now on the DP out in Korea, and now heads to almost won the top 5 or top 10 at the Century, and then almost bricked that 4-footer at the Sony to lose to Grayson. So maybe he has a great start to the season again. I think
Hovland is still on the board. It is the 4th round.
I think it makes sense, Pat. Doesn't play. You think Hovland's like this child that's like delinquent? You know, you don't know what you're going to be getting from him. And so early in the draft with such a high like capital investment, I want to be sure that my guy is going to be giving me either good golf or good volume. And Hovland might not give you either. You know, he might not play tournaments again, working on a swing that was perfectly fine, winning 3 times to end the year, just does what he does last year. So,
I mean,
you know,
it really seems to me like Hovland and Justin Thomas are the 2 candidates just to bounce back and be good again.
Yeah. You know, and if you're going to be feeling that way, draft Hovland. You know, maybe he plays a lot more, and maybe has he been taken yet?
Yeah, he just went. Andrew Novak just went. Damn it. That was one of the guys that I wanted to get. Poor
Early
Paul.
on.
Paul,
Right.
it's probably Paul in this draft, sneakily, covertly behind the camera, taking Andrew Novak.
Paul.
How high would Cameron Young have gone in these drafts last year?
Oh, God. High enough that people could have jumped off of him and broken their neck halfway through the season.
All right, so Novak and Hoagie just went. Novak's probably one of the guys that's going to play in Mexico for sure. So it's 2 picks till it's us. So Homa, Fleetwood, Cam Young, Wyndham, Hughes, Dunlap, Spieth, Pendrith, Harmon are all guys that are left right now. What are you thinking?
I like Mackenzie Hughes. I've got him slated to play Mexico. He's going to be playing the RBC Canadian. He's in the first 2 signatures.
Let's
Makes
do
lots
it.
of birdies.
Fire him up. He's on the squad. Who else?
Let's go, baby.
I want to take Jake Knapp.
Okay. Yeah, this is the time to get different. And I want to preach that don't be an ADP sheep. Don't just click the top of the board. Go down, especially once you get to 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. You have to get different. You're going to find yourself.
You're telling people not to be sheep. Can you rebrand yourself from the model maniac to the fantasy golf counselor?
Hey, I can call me the spreadsheet shepherd, maybe, and then see where I can take you to the greener pastures there, baby. But yeah, take a gap, just take a breath. Don't have to click the first name that shows up on the top of your screen all the time. There's other options down there that will work better for you.
Yeah, I don't really care to draft. I mean, maybe like Fleetwood is still on the board, Cam Young, and we're not picking for another 8 picks or so. So I'm presuming those guys will probably be gone. Do you like Pendrith where he's at? Because he'll play the Canadian Open as well.
Yeah, I don't mind Pendrith. You know, that's the thing, like we spoke about earlier, like the Canadian in the final round when you're making all the moves for all the marbles, getting just an extra Canadian Open dude is big time, especially in the US Open and the Open Championship. Those are 2 very difficult tournaments. You know, you're getting dinged, I think 7 negative points for a triple on this format. So US Opens and Open Championships, you could lose 7 points on 1 hole quite easily.
Zalatoris is interesting because he's not qualified for any of this stuff, is he?
No. And he's also, I don't think, nearly high enough in world ranking points either. So he could potentially play a lot of volume, but he's also, do you see he's beefed up? I think he said he picked up 15 pounds.
Like
which is like 40% of his body weight.
But he could potentially play in Mexico and at the. I mean, did he almost win at Farmers? Yeah, he did almost win at Farmers. He lost to Luke List in that playoff. But he would have to he would be sort of the perfect pick because he'd have to play all these goober events to get into the big events.
Right. But somehow he's 38th in FedEx Cup ranking. So he's signature event bound. Is
how the hell did he do that? Did he come like
early? His schedule early was API, all of those early tournaments, Farmers, API, Genesis, played well, and then just shit the bed from then on out. So
all right, so that's actually a terrible pick then. So let's not do that.
But potentially, yes.
Sam Stevens,
but he also
Minwoo
is okay. We're looking a lot better than the last time we drafted, which is good.
Well, we have our 2 picks coming up here in 2 picks. We took Poston and McCarthy last time. Do we want to take, I don't know, Patrick Rogers and Kitayama?
Brian Harmon? Kitayama?
Do you like Harmon here?
Yeah, he fills a lot of random schedules that you don't realize as well.
I'll queue up Brian Harmon. Someone just drafted Bo Hossler, and Matt McCarty just went. And Thorbjornsson just went too. Is Clanton playing at all?
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to be trying to win the NCAA championship first.
All right, let's go Harmon and Rogers.
Cool.
Okay. And then with our last 2 picks, maybe we'll do Vegas and Michael Kim.
Love it. I love it. Okay, who did you go? Harmon and?
Patrick Rogers.
Rogers. Okay. Yeah, I like where this is heading right now. This is cool. And then if we go Kim and Vegas. Yeah. We don't have a single 4. Oh, we do. The Open Championship. But you never know. You could kind of work your way into that by the time it happens. But we've got 5s across the board for every other tournament, given the projected schedules for these guys. So I love where we're at yet, Pat. This is a solid start. Solid team.
And that's if we go Michael Kim and Johnny Vegas?
Correct.
I like it. And then it's so weird. Like you mentioned Davis Riley. Like he and Goddard are both going undrafted.
Yeah. The thing is, it's just, he's going to the Century. He's going to be playing all sorts of random events. He gives you some good, he plays well in that Florida swing. So maybe he just helps you get through that second round and then just is literally a cold body for the rest of the time. But, you're at least in round 3 and 4 then.
We have team Florida swing.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so but it's okay. That's the thing is like maybe you bank on like what Raza, he stacks stats, so maybe you can stack swings, kind of just try and if that team gets through the first round, you're for sure getting through the rounds 2 and 3, something like that. I think just being different. You got 150 lineups to potentially draft, and you've only got 10 people that you're going to be drafting. So you're going to want to make sure you don't have duplicates.
How many people do you think will take live guys in these drafts? Just be like, oh, I need to take Bryson because he'll play in all the majors.
Yeah. Congratulations. You got a guy playing 4 times a year in the 4 most difficult tournaments of the year. So I love it when I see guys like that go off because it's that lineup's potentially just dead. Or if they make it through, there's no chance. Like there's no major in the first round. They got an empty spot.
But let's say you drafted well, because you're trying out different things here. If you could have someone that you liked for both the U.S. Open and the Open Championship, if they're in the final segment, I guess you don't get any points for winning a tournament, do you? It's just birdies.
No, correct. And he's going to win the U.S. Open at -2.
Yeah,
you're going to have some Michael Kim's going to go finish 20th at the Rocket and have like 50 more fantasy points.
So we're looking good there. Nick Taylor, I guess, would be the other one randomly who doesn't seem to be being drafted at all and he's in the Century. He'll play Phoenix. He'll play those other tournaments too.
Yes, he'll be in the first 2 signatures as well. He's 60th in FedEx.
All right, so let's get Michael Kim. Let's get Johnny Vegas. And that is our team. So take a look at our team right now of 10 players. We went Eric Cole, Davis Thompson, Corey Connors, Ben Ann, Mac Hughes, Jake Knapp, Brian Harmon, Patrick Rogers, Michael Kim, and Johnny Vegas. That is our team of 10.
Gross. I love it. I love it. I love the Knapp at the sixth spot, sixth round Knapp. He makes lots of birdies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he might make a few triples, which is not great. But if I can get him for Torrey in Mexico, I think he's going to play well at both those places. Patrick Rogers as well is another one who plays well at both those courses.
Yes. I love this. And Harmon, sneaky, all the way down there. I mean, he's going to be playing well in random events too.
Yeah, he'll probably play Sony. He'll probably play Valspar.
Yeah. He plays a lot of those Florida swing events too. So yeah, sneaky option. Another name I want to mention, Lucas Glover, as a blue collar dude who's also probably wanting to get into the top 60 there to play these signature events. He'll play a lot of golf, and he's playing some solid golf too.
All right. Well, those are 2 drafts. I mean, those aren't even mock drafts. Those are real drafts under the PME that I am playing in this year's Underdog Best Ball Tournament. So use code Mayo at Underdog right now. Get yourself that deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And Byron, once again, tell them where they can get your best ball tool and what it does, because you've been talking through it this entire time, but it adds everything up for you, right?
Absolutely. So you can grab it at my Patreon, The Model Maniac, or just go to my X account, Model Maniac. It's right there at the top as my pinned tweet. What it does is it just helps you fill the hole. So as we've been going along, it adjusts the rankings to determine, okay, this guy fills the most holes that you have in your lineup. So it just ramps him up the rankings to get him to give you the most optimal volume schedule. And it also allows you to paste your exposure from Underdog into the tool so that it reduces the rankings of guys you've played a lot if you don't want to be drafting a lot of one dude, because sometimes you'll just land up picking the same names. You can edit your schedules, how you think the person's going to go along so that you can be different to other people. And it's just a great way there's a lot of research involved here too. You can have a cheat sheet that shows you how they played last year, which events they played, how many fantasy points they scored last year without finishing positions. All those kind of things are available to you. I've got underscore rankings, under par rankings there, which is very important this year too. So go check that out at the Patreon account, The Model Maniac. It's a great tool. I'm very proud of it.
Well, you can use that, and you can also use fantasynational.com to build your lineups, do your research. You can click the Underdog tab over there and create your own rankings, and you can use the schedule planner as well to map out your entire season for best ball and for one and done as well. So fantasynational.com/Mayo, and the giant one and done $1 million of guaranteed prizes in the prize pool this year. You make 1 pick a week. That is it. You can even get text alerts sent to yourself in case you forget to make a pick. You can do that at Fantasy Golf Championships right now. This is show 2 of the return to golf, coming out very early next week. Me, Feinberg, and Byron's good friend Kenny Kim on the year in review. So stay tuned to the Pat Mayo Experience and hit that subscribe button, or subscribe to the audio podcast if you want some more of this before full-time golf is back at the Century. All right? I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!